Well, we already have 30 people. That took 5 seconds. Okay. Well, it looks like this is going to be a really popular one. We have my friend. I want to say my friend, but it's an imagined friendship I've had with you for a very long time. Uh, the cartoonist Rich Sparks is here today. Welcome, Rich. How are you?
Oh, thanks for having me on. I'm really excited about this.
So am I. So am I. I mean, everyone who knows this show knows that I'm obsessed with drawing and cartoons, and I sort of fanboy out about cartoons all the time, and I have my favorite cartoonists. And what's really strange about you, I think it's like you and Barry Litt and John Cuneo. I just have this sort of parasocial strange like it's like we've never I've met John and Barry, but you and I have never met. But I feel like I know you because I've been following your work for such a long time. I'm so familiar with your work. I love your sense of humor. It's very similar to mine. And I just like that you're like a pure cartoonist. I think you just have this thing that is rare, and it's a derangement of the brain. Let's be honest, but it's truly it's this ability to have an idea and then execute it on a page and make strangers laugh across the planet, which is it's a pretty rare skill to have. It's a thing that is really hard to do well. So yeah, I just wanted to say that first up because I'm a big fan of your work for a very long time.
Well, that's lovely of you to say. It's also lovely of you to include me in the company of John Cuneo and Rick Flitt, where I don't belong at all because I revere those two guys. Um,
Well, Barry did blurb your new book, but I
he
mean,
did, yes. Yeah, he was very nice to do that. I've had some interactions with him over the years.
sure. Well, I wanted to talk about the new book because this is the second one that I've bought of yours. It's a collection of drawings. It's called Horseshoes and Tardigrades. Uh, another and other drawings by Rich Sparks. This is published by our friend Marty at the Weekly Humorist, and it's one of those things that like a collection of cartoons is really hard to put together. There's no thread, there's no theme. It's just like how do you know what order to put these crazy ideas in? How do you spread them out? How do you show them in such a way that if you just open this book to any page, you're just going to enjoy yourself? And I spent like as soon as I got this book the other day, I just like I couldn't put it down. I'm not exaggerating. I had my mail, all of my mailbox stuff. I had all these urgent things I had to respond to, and I just sat there for like an hour and a half just going through this book. And it's a fantastic new book. So congrats, by the way, congrats on the book.
Thank and thanks to Marty for putting it out.
Yo, I mean, of course, our friend Marty at the Weekly Humorist. I'm gonna have to get him on the show when he's not busy doing a million things at once, like running comedy clubs.
Yeah, I know he's so busy. That guy.
I know. I know. He's ex New York. I mean, he was in Brooklyn for a long time, and we lost him. So,
Yeah.
but he's still running Weekly Humorist. So, I wanted to ask you about your work. You're based in Chicago. You have been working for a long time. You're published in pretty much everywhere that takes cartoons at this point, and I see a lot of your stuff in Airmail, which I really like. I enjoy seeing your work there, and obviously in the New Yorker and everywhere that has ever published cartoons, really. But where did you really get your start? I heard this apocryphal story that may or may not be true about when you were working. Was it at a grocery store? You were doing this sort of little daily panel thing. What was that story?
I can't believe that. Yeah, when I moved to Chicago, I worked at a grocery store, and there had
Yeah.
been this sign on the scale in the produce department. I worked in produce, and it said "Ring bell." No, I can't remember what it was. Ring bell for fast service or something like that. I can't even remember what it was, but that sign had obviously been up there forever. For like a
Yeah.
hundred. And so one day I thought, well, I'll just redraw it. And I just drew some characters saying that. And then before I knew it, like weekly, I was changing it and people were coming. my first taste of some comedy. So
Right. Right. You're. I
I,
mean that.
I'm being told I have an unstable internet connection sometimes. So if anything
I mean,
happens, just
we're
that's
both
what's
deeply
happening.
unstable people. This is part of the course. One of the I like that you've got the sound dampening behind you. The reason for that, from what I understand, is because in addition to being a cartoonist, you're also a musician. You have a band, which is pretty cool, and it's mentioned in here. It's an indie band called The Last Afternoons. How long have you been doing that for?
Let's see that particular band. I've been in bands like forever.
Right.
That particular band we just realized is 10 years old this year.
Oh wow, nice. Congrats.
Had
That's really cool.
personnel change, put out several albums, but it was kind of shocking because it feels like I can remember starting the band like last week. Feels like
Right.
last.
What kind of music is it?
It's this. There's a term for it. We call it power pop, and a lot of people don't either. They don't know what that is, or it sounds ridiculous. As
It
as they
does sound, yeah, it does sound
but
like some kind of candy.
yeah, it does exactly. Except, but this is what like Cheap Trick is, and Bad Finger back in the day. This is all power pop.
Right.
Um, uh, Fountains of Wayne. But lately we have been sort of thinking of ourselves as indie pop,
Huh,
meaning
okay.
that we don't always necessarily have to follow the formula of
Yeah.
you know verse, chorus, verse, big booming everything. Although we do that a lot. That's kind of
Hmm.
our kind of bread and butter.
So you perform live?
Yeah, we play in Chicago a lot. We're not especially popular or anything. One thing about Chicago, and I'm assuming that this might be the case for bands all over the country
Hmm.
or cities all over the country, that any city will have a certain phase where there are popular local bands, and
Right.
then decades will go by and you'll say, whatever happened to, and what you realize, what you realize is that they're still doing it. They're still making music.
Yeah.
So, Chicago, I would say that we are in a like early 2000s phase where there was some notoriety and
Mm.
fades a little bit, but we're still doing it. And I think I bet you can go in any city in the world. I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio, and I know for
Right.
sure
Right.
go back there and the people I was listening to, back in the 80s, 90s, I know for a fact that they're all still doing it. And so it's kind of I don't know, it's one of these professions, profession maybe isn't the word, but it's one of these, these passionate hobbies
Derangements.
that people, right. I like you using this word that people don't let go of. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I saw this interview with Sting uh, the other day, and he was saying, I mean, obviously he's a kabillionaire, but he said that's not what it's all about. He goes, it's just that I can't turn it off, and that's sort of how I feel like people who are cartooning or whatever in music, you can't turn it off, so you just keep
right.
doing it.
Yeah, you can't not do it. I think
Yeah,
that is a common thing. I noticed that with comedians as well. There's stand-up comedians who, you'll bump into them on the road doing shows or whatever, and you'll sort of go, oh, you'll have an interaction, and then years later, like 10 years later, 20 years later, you go, I wonder whatever happened to that guy, and you have this thing where you like Google them or find, hey, did they die? What happened? And then 9 times out of 10, they died. I'm kidding. No, there is a
right.
point where you realize, oh shit, they're still going. They're still doing it, but
Yeah,
nothing's changed. It's not that they plateaued per se. It's just that they were only ever doing it to do it. They weren't doing it to get famous. They weren't doing it to get a late night spot or a sitcom or thing. Those are great, amazing things to get, and they're great when they happen for you. They're great for your career. But the real like lifers, the comedians who do it for the right reasons, are doing it because they can't not do it.
right. Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
compulsion.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But musicians, I think, are very similar.
yeah.
Is it okay if I share some of the cartoons in this book? Because
Sure.
all right. So if anyone is any uninitiated Rich Sparks, or, someone who hasn't seen your work before, I'm just going to flip the camera. For someone who hasn't seen your work, what is like I mean, I want to get a sense from you because I'm going to give one, but what is the thing that sort of defines your work? What do you think it separates your work from other cartoonists?
Oh, I would have no idea about that. I don't know. I don't know. One thing I do know though is that the we know this term, the gag panel,
Sure.
which is what you're seeing in magazines when
Yeah.
cartoonists um is not an easy fit for me.
No. Right.
So the only thing I would say is that uh I have to kind of redirect myself down into a certain channel in order to
Mm.
get to the gag panel thing, because what I really want to do is just draw pictures. Some of them are
Mm.
dirty,
Yeah.
and almost none of them, and not because they're dirty, almost none of them are going to fit with any magazine that currently exists, except for maybe
Right.
Bystander, maybe or
Mhm.
Weekly Humorist. Those might be the only people who would put out some of these, but yeah. So that's
Yeah.
all.
Okay. And regular readers will remember Michael Gerber being on the show. American Bystander, great
That
publication. Love that guy.
I've got a lot to say about Michael. I love that guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Really, really. It's he's doing great things. He's really. It's a very selfless, uh, crazy thing to do to be running something like
It
the
is.
American Bystander, and
Yeah.
he's we're lucky for it. So this book is I've got a bunch of sort of to show people like, all right, Rich Sparks, who is he? What is his style? There is some of them are captionless, some of them just have like a little title in the bottom left. And this one was one of the first ones that jumped out at me because there's a term in Australia. I don't know if you've ever heard this term where I'm
Oh,
from. If someone's being a bit arrogant, they're kind of full of themselves. My uncle taught me this one when I was a kid. Uh, eh, like they really are just like too into their own stuff. You'll say, mate, look at this guy. He drinks his own fucking bath water. So this is the literal interpretation
wow.
of drinking your own bathwater.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Australian for arrogant.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing I've heard about Australians, the tall poppy syndrome.
Yeah, that's the same thing. That's the part and parcel of like not letting people, enjoy their success or like be able to talk themselves up at all is
I
that,
lo-
yeah, it's all poppy syndrome.
I love that. I love that. I think that's a fabulous way to be. I think Americans could use that.
Yeah, it certainly keeps your head screwed on. Uh there, now
Think- Wait, who's gonna publish that?
Nipokio. I mean, mad maybe, but there are these things you do with wordplay, and I'm sure it's just like some random idea comes to you in the shower or while you're walking or playing music or whatever it is, and it's like a spoonerism or it's a pun or something, and you go, "Ooh, write that down. That could be something." Like these one-off drawings of of like Nipokio is one of them. What is that? You wouldn't call it? Is that a spoonerism? Would you say?
I can't remember what a spoonerism is.
Yeah, it's something like where one part of the word is switched with the other part of the word. I'm probably wrong on that. Just a regular country cartoonist is drawing an udder. This
Yeah,
is what I imagine Barry Litt does out in the country out there.
that's right. I do always imagine that cartoonists are secretly pervs. So
Yeah, or the plein air cartoonists that you put in the book back here. This is another scenario. Oh, portmanteau. Thanks, Bear Edmonds. It's a portmanteau is the word I was looking for, not
yeah,
spoonerism.
I've,
And people in the chat are also very excited about the fact that you actually included tardigrades on the book.
oh,
Fellow
I'm
nerds.
a big tardigrades fan. Yeah.
And a hello in the chat from our buddy Bucky Jones there.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
Bucky. There's only one other person I know apart from you and John Cunha who draws a penis that well, and it's Bucky Jones. Uh, so-
Thank you. Got a
uh,
lot.
This one is great. These caption lists, in my mind, I sort of got this from just looking at too many Sam Gross cartoons, I think, or just obsessing over old New Yorker cartoons. Is I love a captionless. I'm a big fan of a captionless cartoon.
Yeah, I can't always, they don't always occur to me, but when they do, I'm usually happy that they have happened.
Yeah, yeah, because it is harder to do. I mean, I find it really difficult. If I can show, don't tell, then I will. But it's easier said than done. Truly, this other one, this is fantastic. This Dogcast. Uh, I would listen to this show any day of the week over most podcasts, and I would be interested in everything he had to say. What I noticed, by the way, throughout the book is there's all these little deep cuts. There's these little cartooning deep cuts, like Leonardo da Muncie, Renaissance man. Muncie is in Indiana, right?
Right.
Muncie, Indiana, of course, famously, or not famously, I don't know who knows this. Maybe it's just because we're cartoonists we know this is Jim Davis of Garfield. I think he owns half of Muncie at this point. Uh, but this is an interesting little these little. So I don't know where you start with these. I don't know if it's like one idea and then you build it out. But it's this guy. This guy in a bow tie is like, I bought mini golf to Muncie. I'm a cult leader and all my teeth are made of vinyl. And I came up with Muncie Nick. the Muncie nickname, Magic City. I'm also well known for the sex position called ham and eggs. It's just, where do these come from? Do you just look at him and say, what would he say?
I don't know. Actually, I drew this guy from TV. He was being
You
interviewed.
did?
Somebody out there, and I'm not really like a good caricaturist, but I have a feeling that somebody out there recognizes this guy. I can't even remember where I saw him, and I
Right, right.
so I just did I do this a lot. I just do a lot of freeze framing on TV and
Is
draw
that
things.
right? Do you
And
find that doing that gives you ideas as well, like other cartoon ideas?
it does. Like for that one, when I drew that guy, I said, "Oh, I got to say something about him." Plus,
Right.
I'm kind of obsessed with Muncie. I've never been there, but there's something about the name of it. Muncie
Yeah,
sounds so quintessentially American to me.
it is. And it
That
looks it.
first,
I've been to Muncie. It
you've
is
been there,
exactly what you think it looks like.
okay?
It's a lot of wheat fields, some corn. There's a bunch of college bars there. And I've done comedy there, and you know what? The headliner for the show, instead of doing comedy, he just held up a boombox above his head and played Metallica, and everyone clapped. I mean, it was the strangest gig I've ever done. But Muncie, Indiana, it is exactly what you think it is. It's just a wholesome main town, Main Street
Yeah,
America style, place, very wholesome. There's another deep cut little Charlie Brown. It's like the first Charlie Brown strip ever published, I think this is a reference to, right?
that's right. Yeah.
Good old Nose Hair Jones. Yes, sir. How I hate him. Uh, th- there's another there's another Charlie Brown reference in here. I didn't flag it, but it was him in the is it the pumpkin patch saying like never meet
All
your
right.
heroes.
I happen to know that is like right near the beginning.
It is near the beginning somewhere here, yeah.
Because I
And
feel like
I noticed that little theme. There's like a sub theme, like there's comic references like Thing Butt, from Fantastic Four. It's like comics and cartoon references. Do you keep like what's your and I'm cringing as I'm asking this because I don't want to say where do you get your ideas. I want to know more about like you get this like nugget of an idea or a thing you see a thing on TV. There's a face or a name or like a city or town or something, a sign, and your brain just does that thing. And then where does it go from there? Do you sketch it out immediately? Do you write it down? Do you have like a system?
I have no system, but I usually it just starts with drawing something, and then while I'm drawing it, something.
Yeah.
I seem to remember with this one though, because this one I think I literally drew the night before I had to send all the finals to Marty.
That's
Um,
funny.
and it was I can't remember where it came from, but it just like occurred to me that uh, Linus maybe might be too in love with the wrong people.
Right. Yeah. Never meet your heroes. There was another one I think of yours that I think it's in this book actually. It's the one of the guy carving out the jack-o'-lantern and he's carving out the eye and the jack-o'-lantern is screaming like, why would you do that? Yeah, it's just very insane, sort of like absurd moment, and it makes complete sense. There's another thing that I sort of notice about your stuff. This is what originally drew me to your work when I was sort of, and I think I stumbled on it. I'm embarrassed to say on Instagram. It wasn't magazines or anything. I first saw it on Instagram, but then I did a deep dive and went back and saw all of your published cartoons and just sort of really, just got so mesmerized by your line and by the texture and the characters. Everyone has these heads. Uh, I love a flat top glasses. The flat top rim thing of the glasses, which is it's a very rich. I don't know if you did this on purpose. It's very rich sparks coated uh, glasses. Anytime I see them, I think of your work.
Well, you can see I have them on too. But
Yes.
a lot of the guys in these drawings are my dad or versions of my dad.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
Because
So he used to
he
wear
had
glasses.
wore glasses. He had, I mean, he didn't
High
necessarily.
waisted pants?
He had a little mustache, and he had like, he had more hair than he should have had.
Right. Then he ordered it. And the high waisted pants, it was also a theme with you, I noticed. It was just people wearing high waisted pants.
Just classic dude.
It is a funny look, just like a construction of the human body. And then putting high waisted pants on that body just makes it look so much funnier with like a dad bod, you know?
Right, right.
Um, there was a Dan Collins question in the chat saying that how much he loves your work, but he says, "How has Facebook not kicked you off, or has it?" Because I know John Cuneo had a little issue with that at one point.
Yeah, the issue comes and goes.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I have discovered, and uh, I, you know, I, I'm kind of loath to bring up this topic because I don't want
Hmm.
to. I want something to happen, but uh, let's see. There are there are ways of drawing
Uh-huh.
that are explicit, and there are ways of drawing that aren't.
Hmm.
And um, I I am trying. I'm trying to figure out how I feel about the notion of what's funnier. Like,
Oh,
is showing everything funny or is not the way to go? And I can't
right.
always. It's always back and forth. And in terms of the I don't know, actual sensors, or whether it's an algorithm or something like that,
Yeah.
it does seem to have go through phases.
Huh. Okay. So do you think there's because AI is obviously automating a lot of the moderation on these platforms now, do you think there's just like buggy AI that's kind of misidentifying things or flagging certain things that it sees, or is it other people seeing them and flagging them?
I don't know. I remember hearing one time that at least on Facebook, and I guess that would work the same for Instagram since they're both
Sure.
men,
Yeah.
that they team of people. But now I'm wondering if that team of people still exists or not. I really don't know. I really don't know. And
Right.
I actually try not to even think about it
Yeah. It's best not to
because I
think
feel
about
like
it.
I'm always on the verge of getting in trouble.
Yeah. It's the unknowable. Well, that's always a great place to be living, though, Rich. I
Yeah.
think. I think you're always on the verge of getting into trouble. This is another one that I was like, it was such a simple idea. Brian Drain. I know it's just changing one letter in the whole thing, but I don't know why it made me burst out laughing. But it was perfect. There's several little moments like that throughout the book that I just like I didn't see it coming. It was probably because it was after a lot of things like testicle slinky, like these these other sort of zigzag. Ziggy. Like just these things that were not similar, and then all of a sudden it sort of shocks you out of nowhere.
You know,
And it's that
I feel
grace.
that, right. I feel like some of these things are the actual wording in it have
Mm,
is a
yes.
visual more like
Right,
that,
right.
like Brian Drain thing. Like
Yeah.
I remember being so happy when when that occurred to me. But I thought like if I say it out loud, it doesn't mean anything. But
Right,
the of like, oh, okay, all right, now I
right.
get.
Like this one. The other thing I really enjoy is that, and I don't know, I want to talk to you about this a little bit because you do these eyes, quarter boy. Uh, these sort of the eyes for your characters are kind of like these wide, sort of. They're never like giant, goofy, googly eyes. You sort of have these wide set, and then often very very simple, but then for the most part a lot of people are wearing glasses, and I wonder if there's a theory. I guess that, whenever I draw people with glasses so that you can't see their pupils, I feel like there's that Scott McCloud theory of like, you being sort of projected onto the character a little bit because you can't see their pupils. Do you do that consciously or subconsciously? Do you think there's like a theory behind that?
There probably is somebody probably has a theory. I don't, but I this is another thing that I wrestle with
Mm,
because there's maybe this goes back to say like The Far Side or something like
sure.
that,
Gary Larson, right?
and that there's a comedy value in letting eyebrows do all the work.
Yes.
And
Yes.
but every once in a while, I will draw an eyeball within glasses, and um, I feel I do it so rarely that I feel like
Yeah.
it's for a reason.
Right, right, right. Yeah. I mean, if it's a real like if it's a reaction, I think I notice you do it a lot. Like if the person needs to be reacting for the gag to land, like that pumpkin gag kind of needs him to look kind of upset about
Right,
this
right.
reaction.
Yeah, you don't want to hide it.
Right, right, right. Otherwise he just kind of looks like a psychopath. But also the eyebrows do a ton of work. I mean, it's interesting how the shape of the glasses and then the eyebrows actually kind of do a lot of work, especially if it's just like straight across.
Right.
Damocles has a variety of sorts.
I feel like in that one right there, I feel like the sweat drop is doing all the work.
That is doing a lot of heavy lifting. I love this one. This is one of the great, I think, a perfect encapsulation of a great Rich Sparks cartoon is that you see it, you see the gag, you do the whole, the thing your brain does, but then you spot this little detail and you're like, there it is. So do you just sit with a sketchbook and sort of noodle away? Are you a doodle first, or you sort of noodle away and come up with ideas, or are you a word firster, or a bit of both?
No, probably more of a doodler, but I don't
Yeah,
like don't sketch. I don't practice, but I draw
sure.
all the so I guess it's the same thing. So I watch a lot of TV and I just
Same.
sit there, notepad on my lap. And usually something will spring out of, four or five drawings over a night.
Right, right.
And
And do you keep a catalog? Like, how do you keep a catalog of like your sketchbooks and ideas and stuff like that?
I don't. But what I do is I just keep all my sketchbooks and my wife hates me.
So you just have this gigantic stack of sketchbooks that
Do. They have
someday someone's going to have to go through and figure out what the hell to do with all these things. Is that it?
yeah, I think maybe that's it.
There's a great cartoon in here. It's Bobber. It's this guy sort of fly fishing and it's just little and it was go bombing there. What I really love about it is like there you when you draw someone like in profile, it's this really nice. You've got this like hump, like hunch on the back, and like this the shape of the way it's a very human shape. Like there's no idealizing form or shape or any of these sorts of you know uh, poses where sometimes you I don't know if you consciously or subconsciously will change the way that a person looks or stands because of the way you've seen it drawn, but you just have this very like honest way of drawing like bodies. And it's very funny because the human body is so fucking silly. It is such a silly thing, and the bits that hang off it are ridiculous, and the way that they're drawn can make just something so incredibly funny
You know,
just
I'm
by showing it as it is.
I'm very impressed when anyone has a great body because in my mind, I see it in 3 dimensions. I mean, I see it
Sure.
in rotating. So it's like you'll say, so some human is approaching you and you say like, "Wow, that person has great calves." And then they turn sideways and it's, "Oh, wow, this is like they're skinny as hell," or something. Uh,
Right, right.
there's no reason to imagine that there's any kind of standard that matters. It obviously doesn't. But sometimes when you see symmetry in a human,
Yeah, okay.
it's like shocking to look at, and it
Yeah.
doesn't really happen that often. So in that case, it's pretty good to just let people be people, and that's right to draw.
Yeah, I mean, symmetry doesn't necessarily happen that frequently in the human form, which is why it is so strange when it is when you do see it. I think, the asymmetry of a face is kind of how you nail a likeness sometimes is by just finding those little asymmetries. But
Right.
yeah, but it is a funny sort of idea to kind of to think about, because I think, especially with the algorithm and with the sort of the way the bodies that people see, it sort of consciously or subconsciously creates this idea of what a body is meant, quote unquote, meant to look like. And I think it distorts it. I think it distorts what a real human body looks like.
Right.
So some kind of Greco-Roman god. It's like, this is everybody's kind of different and it's meant to be, and it's meant to look a little bit silly and funny in parts. And, every bit doesn't have to be perfect and aesthetically pleasing. Sometimes it can just be a body. It's fine.
Hey, this is really good. Hey, you're good at this.
This,
You should try make a career of this.
nah, there's no money in it. Yeah, I wanted to ask, and it's such a, I guess it's like a cartoonist question. Is do you use just like a regular, like what do you use, like a pen, a ballpoint pen, a pilot, a fountain pen? What's your weapon of choice?
Oop, you dropped there for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Whoop.
I was
Oh, there
wondering
you go.
what your weapon of choice is. Do you have a fountain
Oh,
pen or
I don't have it with me. I use a roller pen, uh, Vision,
oh,
uh,
Uniball?
Uniball Vision. That's what I use. Years ago,
Nice.
I found and it after trying bunch of different things, I tried it
Right.
and it was just right, and
Is it
I've never looked back. That's it.
is it is it the Elite?
Um, no, it's not quite that. It's called Vision.
This one, Uniball Vision. Oh, the one with the what do you
Silver.
call it? This one here, right?
Mm, uh, m- well, maybe mine is silver, but maybe
Oh,
it's the same.
okay.
Probably is.
Yeah, the reason I was using this for a while, the reason I like them is once in a while, I'll be sketching away with these, and I'll want to kind of add just a little detail or like a smidge of like a wash or something. So I'll kind of cheat, if there's like a hat or something like that, and I want to kind of give it some color. I'll sort of patch it a little bit, knowing that I'm going to kind of ruin it. And then because this is non-waterproof ink, you can use like a water brush and just kind of smudge the ink to create a little wash. And it just looks like you brought, you know, ink and watercolors or whatever the hell with you, but you're really just cheating there. You're really just
You
sort of using the ink from the pen.
you have just taught me something. So this is the whole reason I'm here to learn something. Thank you.
Well, don't get used to it. Don't get used to it, Rich. That's the last thing you're gonna learn from me.
You know,
I
ever seen John Cuneo's? Like sometimes he'll post
oh,
videos,
I can't
but
stop watching them. I do
and
days watching those things.
and one of the things that he does is he's always just smudging, and
Yeah.
I've never done that, uh, but I'm gonna between the two of you now. I think I'm gonna start incorporating it.
Well, I mean, the thing about your work though, and I really love it, is that it's like just it's line, right? And it's texture. You always have this ability to find texture. There's that cartoon of like Attila the Hungover. Was it? Is that was it? And it had like this sort of texture to the different parts of his costume. With you were using stippling, and hatching, and all kinds of line. You didn't need wash or watercolor anything. You just kind of had it with line. And that's such a great skill to have because it reproduces well. The line weights are consistent. I think there's something about flat line that is kind of funny, in comedy. There's just something about instead of like swoopy, contoured line, there's something about flat and a little bit kind of wonky, like this kind of like a George Booth sort of level of just like wonkiness. And Cuneo, I think I when I watch him work, he uses, I think, one of these. I think he also uses a Uniball, but the waterproof one, because so he can add his wash. But he'll kind of hold the pen a little further back, and he has this like really nice like wobbly
Yeah.
quality to his line, and he will add some texture if he needs to. But like he'll have, and that's why I can't stop watching him. I'm like, he clearly has a plan in his head. I mean, I don't know if he does. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here. He has a plan in his head for what he's trying to make happen here. But then maybe the page is telling him something else. Or maybe what's coming out of the pen is different than what he pictured in his head. But watching him make, an image or a shape and then just sort of it slowly forming, I forget that not everyone can do that and it looks like a magic trick when it's done. But for him, it's incredible to watch. Do you watch a lot of his stuff?
Not really, but there's one in particular that I saw on YouTube where he's like obviously teaching a college course,
I've seen that one. Yeah, yeah.
or dropped in for the day, and
Right.
he I don't know that he has any kind of plan because it just seems like he just goes, and
Yeah.
and it might occur to him like moment to moment that what the next thing is, but I don't think he starts with a plan. And the last
Huh.
year I had an opportunity. I was sort of inspired, and then a friend of mine who teaches at Northwestern, he
Mm.
invited me to come in and just do some live drawing, and
Oh, cool. Nice.
that was a blast.
Yeah, I mean, it is fun to kind of, draw I it's such a solitary job, so I'm not totally used to, drawing with other people in the room. You're really just there with a TV or a podcast or something or an audiobook and your ridiculous thoughts, to have other people in the room while you're doing it is kind of a whole new experience.
Well, look at that! Wow, that's terrific.
Yeah, it's fun to play. I had no idea what the fuck that was going to be when I started. Um, yeah, there's this other one that I noticed in there. So, do you use photo reference or do you just have a visual vocabulary? Like, you got is it like a corgi? Here, you
Usually,
just got the perfect head tilt.
when I draw animals, I'm usually using a reference.
You are okay,
I mean, they may not have a an attitude. I
right,
supply that, but just the pose because um, one of the things I found is that whatever you think, that's not the reality. Like whatever
right.
you like a dog's back leg looks like a picture, you go, wow, oh. Sometimes you're even kind of disappointed. You say, I thought it'd be more interesting than that. Or it finds out
Yeah,
it's like it's completely fascinating. It's like I would never even it wouldn't occur to me that that's how it looks. Or also like what's a leg on the other side of the body? How does that look compared to the leg on the front? And
right.
I'm fascinated about that.
Yeah, it is. You know what? I remember. I don't know if you ever saw the great documentary called Lost and Found. It's James Stevenson, the New
Hmm.
Yorker cartoonist, and this quote really stuck with me. It's at the start of the film, and it's about kind of exactly that. You think you know what something looks like, but he said until you draw a picture of something, you are apt to be dead wrong about what it looks like.
Yes, I
And
agree.
it's true. Until you draw it, you don't actually do the work of like figuring out the shape of the thing or how it fits or. a dog leg is such a weird thing to try and figure out. Like I when I was drawing the dogs in his book, I had like I thought I knew what a dog looked like. I spent months trying to figure out the shape of it, how a dog looks when he jumps up and like catches a ball or something. I had a version in my head, and then there's the reality of what it actually kind of looks like, and then I land somewhere in between. Uh, like a dog jumping in the air. The anatomy is ridiculous, so it just looks completely stupid. But yeah, I think until you draw it, you don't figure it out.
But then, when it comes to like cartoons, especially like gag panels that you're going to
Sure.
be somewhere, the there also is a reality within the gag panel world.
Sure.
So, like, you can go all crazy trying to get a dog right, but getting a dog right may not be getting a dog funny. And
Yes.
to make sure to like, the be mindful of like genre standards, like to get a laugh. That is.
Yeah. 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 That's so interesting. Getting a dog right doesn't mean getting a dog funny. It's such an interesting insight because you kind of are caricaturing in a little way or pulling out the thing that makes it work for the joke or for the just they are just funny looking instead of trying to make it perfectly faithful to what it is. Is that there's a funnier version of that pose or whatever it is. Yeah. By the
Yeah.
way, I had a question in the chat. Are you going to be returning to your hometown this August for the 80th anniversary of the National Cartoonist Society at the Billy Island Cartoon Museum and Library?
No, but uh, I have been to that museum though, because I went to Ohio State, and
Oh, okay. Great.
so it's
Great.
it's so great. What a great repository.
It is. It's like Disneyland in there. It's crazy. For cartoonists, oh my God. Yeah, people think Disneyland is Disneyland for cartoonists. No, the Billy is Disneyland for cartoonists. Seeing all those
Yeah.
originals and the flat files and
Oh
taking
my
out the
god,
tour,
it's amazing. It's amazing.
it's
And when I was
incredible.
there, I saw Caitlin in behind a door, and I
Yeah,
was going to. We're like uh, social media friends, but had never met in person.
sure.
And I was going to introduce myself, and I got a little bit starstruck.
Sure. It's Caitlin McGurk. I mean, come on. Did she take you for the tour?
No, because I chickened out. I couldn't bring myself to introduce myself.
Oh my gosh, she would have been so thrilled to meet you, Rich. She's a complete cartoon obsessive. She knows cartoonists. She would have loved to meet you.
Well, maybe someday.
Yeah. For those who are unsure about what we're talking about, the Billy Island Cartoon Museum and Library in Columbus, Ohio, at Ohio State, is the biggest cartoon library in the world and has, I think, now the biggest collection of cartoons and manga, like comic collections as well, of anywhere in the world. So yeah, if you're in Ohio, you should go and visit. And Caitlin McGurk is the curator there. We have a question from Bear Edwards. Rich, do you sketch in pencil at all, or just straight ink work? Are you alla prima over here? Are you just diving in with a pen without any
I just
roughs?
I dive in with a pen, and I
Uh,
say that I have. Pardon me here. I have every once in a while. I can't figure out. I'll have an idea,
yeah,
okay, this is two intertwined bodies, and I can't figure
right.
beforehand, and I'll draw a couple of straight lines.
Yeah, because your poses are really good. I mean, there's just
Oh,
and I'm sure there are several different versions of them. Like like you may have a little noodle around with it, beforehand. But like even just the casual poses of it. This is Penis Craft with Walter and Marianne. Uh the poses, it's like a mid, is this like a TV still kind of reference? Or because the just even
it,
the
it,
gesture
it
is perfect.
yeah, it is. Because it was one of the things I found. I'm kind of into. There's a PBS has a channel called Create, and it has lots of really nerdy
Like
and
nozzle talk.
um that's a no, that's not any. Hey, you kind of went by one with Vlad the Impaler, and I have always
Yes.
wondered how much I revere your Vlad the Employer cartoon.
Oh.
And I was thinking,
Uh,
like, we have similar sensibilities.
yeah, well, that was such a stupid joke. I mean, honestly, I was I don't know if you do this, but in a batch that I would submit to the New Yorker each week, I would have like A material, B material, C material. I have like a silly, a funny, one that I was like, oh, this is a banger. This is going to be great. And then it never sells. And then I have these ones that I throw and I'm like, I drew this one just for me. I mean, this is just a silly idea. I don't think this is going to get up. But Bob Mankoff, he saw that one and immediately was like, that's it. Yes, that's a yes. I'm like, what the fuck? That one? Really? And I was such a silly, and I guess it is a very rich success thing. It was like Vlad the Employer. And I then went to a crazy amount of effort because I saw your Vlad in here. I was like, nice props. You got the head wear exactly right, the face, the moustache. And I went to such a great amount of effort because I knew that they have these fact checkers. And I wanted to make him look exactly as, and all his costuming and jewelry and his spear correct. And I didn't know if it needed a caption. There's just this guy, at the desk being interviewed for a job. But the caption ended up just being, "You start Monday." But he's like
Yeah.
standing up and like nearly knocking shit off his desk. And it just, I don't know. It was a very silly idea. I thank you. It's kind of you to say that. But I was so nervous uh, about that being something that got published because you don't really get to choose what they like. You just put it all in there and hope for the best, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I was
I mean,
hoping that one would make the other ones look good.
oh yeah, I know how that is. Sure, you put a sacrificial one in.
Yeah, exactly. That's what that was. But,
Oh wow,
that's the one they wanted.
Bob, great. Like at Airmail, Bob. Uh, like I feel like if he had stayed at the New Yorker, I'd probably be have more of a profile at the New Yorker. But at
Sure.
Airmail, great.
Oh, sorry, I lost you for a second there. Um, yeah, Airmail, when it first came out, I think Bob went from Esquire to Airmail because it was at Esquire for a few seconds. And I did wonder what it was going to
Oh,
be like because Vanity Fair was such a high end, the clientele was so different, it was all very like, oh, David Yerman, ads. And then all of a sudden there's a Rich Sparks cartoon next to it. It's like the aesthetic is very different, but it works. Somehow it just works. The irreverence of it next to the very serious, Tiffany's ads and and
right, right.
articles. It just kind of works. It's nice. It's a good fit. I think you're a great fit there. America's most beloved pornographer. And now, all this is to say, by the way, that this book is available to buy. What's the best place that people can go to get this? Is this available online through Weekly Humorist? What's the best place to go to get this?
Yeah, if you go to Weekly Humorist site in their book section, it's there.
Okay.
I, I also put out a calendar at the same
Oh,
time I
cool.
put this. That's also available in the shop on Weekly
All right.
Humorist. But it's this character of mine called Apple Snyder, who's just a guy who sleeps on his sister's couch. And I don't know how well the calendar did. I just always wanted to do it. So again, I have to thank Mark for putting out a calendar.
Right. And I think it's humorist media, right? It's humorist books, humorist media is the public technically the publisher, but it's the Weekly Humorist and it's the store
Right.
for the Weekly Humorist.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Well, I mean, honestly, feel like it's taken like 5 seconds. I could talk to you forever about your work, which I'm a big fan. I love every time I see one of your cartoons pop up on my feed. I just like it's one of those. I zoom in, I'm obsessing over how you did it. It's such a nice opportunity that I had today to kind of put a face to a name and why couldn't you be an asshole? I was hoping I would meet a hero and then you'd be a complete
Hey,
dick.
I am an asshole. Oh, trust me.
If I'm in Chicago, I'm going to come and see your band if you guys are playing.
Oh, sure.
Uh, I am doing some lectures on something called Lectures on Tap, where we do these sort of presentations and lectures, but in like bars and big, venues where people can just like drink and you end up doing a presentation to them. So it's not
Oh,
a
wow.
stodgy lecture hall.
Well, let me know if I'll come to that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do one of those in Chicago. So I'll let you know exactly when that's gonna be, so we can hang out, and I'll check your dates for your band. If people want to follow you, what's the best way to do it? Is it Substack? Is it Instagram? Or your website? What's the best place to point them to?
I'd say Instagram or Facebook.
Okay,
That's where I put a lot of stuff. And for
uh
the band, just go to Bandcamp for the last
Bandcamp.
afternoon.
Yes, the last afternoons on Bandcamp. So you got all your dates on there and people can buy albums and download tracks and stuff like that.
I'm losing you here. Okay, there
Oh,
you
sorry. Yeah. The internet is conspiring against us. This is Substack doing what Facebook does to cartoons with dicks in them. So we're getting cancelled. Um, but I really appreciate you making time to talk today. This has
Well,
been really
thank you
really
so much.
fun,
I
Rich.
really appreciate it. It's great to meet you. Great yakking with you.
Yeah, me too. And yeah, please stay in touch. If anyone wants to follow you, there's a button right here on your Substack. Just button right here, say subscribe. But go follow Rich on Instagram and Facebook, and go pick up his book at The Weekly Humorist. All right.
And
Have
by the
a
way, I
Yeah.
think I'm going to start a Substack. I
Oh,
don't have,
great!
but I
You should. You should.
think I will right after this.
Excellent. All right. Well, everyone subscribe to Rich's Substack. Hit the little orange subscribe button up here. All right. Thanks, Rich. I appreciate it. Thanks,
All
everyone,
right.
for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Austin Kleon will be the next guest with his new book called Don't Call It Art. So I'll see you all then. Thank you, Rich. Great to see you. Cheers.
Bye. Thanks.
See you.